Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Channel 6 Community Focus here in Nelson County. Glad you could join us tonight. We've got a special guest in our studio, the Honorable Mayor of Bardstown, Mr. John Royalty. John, first of all, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it today.
Anytime.
Well, you got, basically, I guess what I want to do today, we've got a mid-term report, I guess we what it would say. You got about 2 years under your belt and got another 2 years to go in this term. And what's going on?
Well, it's the first 2 years were exciting.
And
tough at times. And, you know, if you want to pull out of anything out of these first 2 years is you could say is, you know, every mayor, I've been under Dixie and Dick and Bill, and every mayor has its leadership styles. And even going back, talking to other council members that were under Mayor Brock, Dr. Harry, and so forth. Every mayor has their different leadership style. As I said and told you before, I'm not a politician, and you know, my motto was when I ran for campaign was you may not like what I say or how I say it, but you always know where I stand. And that is I guess hard for people to to comprehend or cope with, because I'm not a politician.
Now, when you say politician, I mean, are you more of your style, more direct, more get to the job, more? How do you describe your style as opposed to what you would say is a typical politician would be?
I'm just very direct, and I say what's on my mind. And when people say, "Can you do this or can you do that?" I either know that I can or I can't, or if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, and then I'll get back with you. And if the answer is no, I just tell you no. In my opinion, politicians say, "Well, you know, I'll work on it and I'll get back with you," and sometimes they never do.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that way.
Well, you're looking back over the last 2 years, and you've made a lot of changes. I mean, nobody can say you haven't made some changes. I mean, fire department, EMS, I mean, the fire rec center, things of that nature. Are there regrets, or are there things? Are you still feel comfortable that what you did was the right way to go?
I have regret for nothing that I have done as far as making the changes. But I will say this, that you know, I personally regret that anything of my actions that may have been contributed to the way the council and I toward the council toward me. I regret that. I wish it would have been differently. And I'll tell you right up truth about it. It is. I will take some responsibility. I think the council has a responsibility of their actions, and that causes this disruption. And if anything I regret is that most of all.
What about the council? Was it a very, the past 2 years, I mean, you can talk about the other council, new one coming in, but the one of the past 2 years, you could feel like they've been an active council, an informed council, or has it been more of a personal? Is it personal, or are they actually doing what the people's work? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think we've got a lot of things done. You know, I have here. You know, we have some of these municipal orders and interlocal agreements. That's that was actually signed by myself, Roland Williams, Tommy Reed, Bobby Simpson, to dissolve these interlocal agreements. And ever since I've been on the council since 2005. These interlocal agreements have been in place, and they've came up to renegotiate. And we leave that up to the mayor to negotiate that. And as a council member, I took it at the mayor's word, and that this is what you want. If that's what that mayor wanted, then I move right along, whether I disagreed with it or not. You know, I would express my disagreement, my dissatisfaction over that way of doing it. But that's what she felt or he felt, and I went along with it. So when I was elected, we've been dealing with these interlocal agreements, and I thought that this is a time that we, or the city taxpayers, must be treated equally, fairly, and quit paying, in my opinion, the bulk of the interlocal agreement. And with these other mayor or council members, They agreed because they signed the resolution here to dissolve it.
Well, under this interlocal agreements, there's been a dispute about those for years, and then several mayors I think, have actually advocated what you actually did. I mean, you came in and sort of ripped the Band-Aid off the wound, and they were going about, I don't know if they were going about it differently or just decided it was just too much effort to do it. What was the reasoning it wasn't done before?
Well, I think Mayor Shekels tried that because he hired that fire chief from Zonton, Kentucky, and never got an approval from the city council, and that caused a little rift in his administration. And then he hired him, and then you have to, I don't know how you unhire somebody, but it did. And then, and we never got anywhere with it. So it was just put on a shelf like it's always been, is to, well, let's just let it sit there and we'll worry about it later. Yeah. And that's not my style. And if that offends somebody, I apologize. But I want to get a resolution to a problem, again, that's been on the table since 2005 to equal the amount of money that the city taxpayers pay in these interlocal agreements. Mm-hmm. And my style is, I went in there, I know when I negotiate, if I buy a tractor from you, Kenny, I know exactly what I'm going to get for it, and I'm not going to give a penny more. And then when we get to that point, then I'll get up and walk away and say thank you, but it's not a deal.
So at this point right now, you feel the fire department, rec center is better now for city-wise than it was 2 years ago?
Absolutely, 100%. I really do. Mm-hmm. I have no doubt about it. We have a full-time fire department. The guys are EMT trained. They respond. They get to these incidents quick, and that's what it's all about. Is to help a citizen. It's not. Are we going to outdo the EMS? Because they're vitally important to the Nelson County. But the bottom and baseline here is the citizens of Bardstown. What kind of service can we do for you if you're injured or hurt? And that's what we've done.
And financially, is Bardstown sound as we move into the next couple of years?
Yes, I think we are. I thought I had a chart. I would say next year the transfer to money from the general will be below the $500,000 mark. Mm-hmm. But what has helped that is the raise of the occupational tax that the council voted for.
And you didn't do that by yourself.
I didn't do that by myself. It's a group effort. So we did, and we have had group efforts in this council. I mean, we have done a lot of work. We've done a lot of good. Look at the sidewalk. I'll go back through the administrations, and on the average, they spent maybe $5,000 in sidewalks, but our sidewalk injuries were enormous. So we have now replaced a tremendous amount of sidewalks. And usually we only spend about $5,000 a year out of it, and we spent probably close to $50,000 to $55,000.
Yeah.
And the best thing about that is the residents, I think, pay $1 a square foot. The city workers do all the work and the concrete, and that's the labor. I say the labor is free, but the city workers are going to be working there anyway, so why not use them? Yeah. And they want to get these sidewalks done. They enjoy it.
So as we've looked back over the last 2 years, there's been some personal animosity. You think that's overshadowed the good that's happened in the past couple of years, or people? Because you hear people talk, or if you get on Facebook or whatever else, you think the world's coming to an end at the city government, and you don't quite see it that way.
No, I don't. Again, I can honestly say I regret my actions, and we all acted as a whole. Every council member is as fault as I am, whether they want to believe it or not, because everybody acted as a group. And I think, in my personal feelings, that we have to step up above that, take that next step, and do what's best for the city. Not this personal, whether you like me or whether you don't. Yeah. The main thing is to get into my office and find out what do I want? What do we need to do for the citizens of Bardstown? And that has to happen, and that hasn't happened, in the first 2 years.
Well, like I said, there've been several things going on in the first 2 years. Got 2 more to go right now in this term, and a new city council coming in the next month or so. And are you a little optimistic about it, or you feel how do you feel about what you're about to, the new city council look? Is it better, worse, or about the same?
Well, I'm going to say I'm hoping it's going to be a better council where we can be more creative and constructive instead of being destructive toward each other, and not attack each other, because you know how that goes. If you hit me, I hit you back, and it goes as
Right.
Tim Butler has explained, and I'm telling you, good attorney, good city attorney. Need to throw that in there because he really is a good city attorney. But we have to stop that. I have to stop it. Council members have to stop it, and we just have to. You have to pull together. And again, the bottom baseline here is the citizens of Bardstown, and you have to create that. Be creative and be constructive. You know, we have a lot of things that we're going to do. That we need to do is electric and cable. I've kind of had jotted down some notes here. I want to get. We did buy Bloomfield's cable and internet. So what I want to do is I want to go further out into the county and give people a chance to get internet that doesn't have it. You know, they may be using off their phone or whatever, but I want to be able to give them TV cable or internet, anything, just and fiber optic. And I want to get fiber optic, which is the high speed. And maybe that will pull in big businesses or professional businesses, professional offices. And you envision you may have a 4-story complete office building and have our own private Silicon Valley or something, but we have the capability to provide that. And that's where I want to go with the TV and electric. Water and sewer. When I was elected the first time to the city council in 2005 under Mayor Dixie Hibbs, I was on the water and sewer committee. I have always wanted to get the water to taste better, and you don't have all those stuff at the end of the water line, or the lake taste and all that. So what we're doing here is that we're doing carbon filters where we can backwash the filters better, and you're talking costing several millions of dollars. But we're switching from treating from chlorine to chloramine, like Louisville and Lexington, and I think Owensboro and Bowling, the bigger cities do. That way, if we run short, I think what our intentions are is to be able to intermingle those two waters. Because right now we can't. We treat with chlorine and they're chloramine. And we can't intermingle those waters. So if we can, if the lake is dry and we maybe run short or getting scared, we can.
Yeah, we've already got the capability of tapping into Louisville water right now if we wanted to, don't we?
Right, yeah. And the other thing is there is a sewer line that runs under the Bluegrass Parkway. I think it's maybe 8, and I'm wanting to run another one that will enhance the industrial park. So that's another thing that I'd like to do. And of course, the council has to approve all of this.
Right.
And so. What else is there? The recreation. It's important. I know Dean has his recreation department, and what I want to do is we have these neighborhoods. You take the neighborhood out behind BJ's and neighborhood out behind Dairy Queen, just like we did on South 4th Street, the Woodson Park. I want to put a small park in a neighborhood to keep these kids from these basketballs and playing out in the street, because we've had several kids been hit by cars. Right. And it doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes the power to say, I'm on board, I want to do it.
So more neighborhood parks.
On the north side, that's what I would like to do.
Okay. So. Well, you put a couple new people in place in the last couple of years, and you got a new fire chief, new police chief. Are you pretty satisfied with those selections, or how's that working out?
Chief Randy Walker is. You couldn't get any better than him. He knows so much about ISO. He knows so much about what trucks are needed and where, and he's been the answer that I think the city fire department has needed.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy with him. And then we've hired Steve Urim. I've always said he's overqualified, just probably like Randy Walker, overqualified for Bardstown. But it's a good town. and I can see why they want to come here. But Chief Urim has a long background on enforcement and military, just everything. His whole background is amazing. And the thing about that is that I did not choose him. It was a board that I had appointed to choose him. So it was out of my hands. So, and that was the first time that has ever been done. Because usually it comes in and says, well, Kenny, you and I'm the mayor, but you and I are friends, I'm going to appoint you chief.
Yeah.
If you're qualified. And that I want to step out because I want a board to pick that.
Yeah.
Just like hiring, doing the sergeants, I had an independent board that did that. They interviewed and they scored. The 2 recruits that I think they're going to hire had nothing to do with that. It was an independent board, not the mayor. And it's always been the mayor says, well, he belongs to Mr. Smith or Jody over here. And we're good friends, and his son wants to be a cop. I'll just let him be a cop.
Yeah.
No, it takes me out of it, and I think that's the best thing.
Economic development. I mean, we brought in some new factories in the last few years, new businesses, but our workforce is getting pretty tapped out. I mean, I know our unemployment rate's down below in the 4% range, and there's not a lot of workers left. Are we tapped out on economic development? Where are we at as far as attracting business, or can we do that? Are we pretty much hit a stalemate for a while?
Well, with the work of the BICD board and the community in general, what I'd like to see is have more of a maybe an IT school or a vocational to where you can do machine shops, or because that's what we're missing is the technical guys. And I think some of the factories here, when Ford opened up and was going to hire like 2,000 people, they took all the machinists.
Yeah.
But if you have a good commodity, these factories are going to also have to understand, you want to hang on to this tool and die guy, you got to pay him to stay.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that hurts us here, but not just us, but all the counties, the whole state of Kentucky, is the drug problem. We have a drug problem, and it's just not Nelson County. It is everywhere. Some counties are worse than others. I don't think we're as bad as some of the others. We don't have the predominantly gangs, as you say.
Yeah.
There's other departments or other cities that have those, and look at City of Louisville. Triple digits in murder, it's unheard of. And probably I'd say 95% of that's related to drugs or alcohol, some way related to that.
Yeah. Well, you've the last couple of years, you've taken a lot of heat on a lot of things. You've had to be pretty thick-skinned in so many ways. You still enjoy going to work every day?
Every day. And I enjoy it. Bardstown is my passion. It really is. Again, maybe I did not handle some things politically correct, but I don't look at it as politics. I didn't take this job to do the next step to be a state representative or be a congressman or to enhance my career. I didn't take this job for this. I took this job to get this town on track and be progressive. And I think I've done that, and it's been difficult. As my mother said, she's going to kill me for this, but she says, she gives me my morning lecture most of the time, and she said, you've moved too fast for people to understand. And I agree with her, and I think I have.
Yeah.
But, when a problem exists and the problem's put on my table, I attack it. And
do you do that because you feel like you're in a hurry to get something done, or that's just your style of leadership, or you want to make sure it gets done in your term, or what's the thought process there?
The reason why that is one is I know behind that problem there's going to be others, and I do not put it on the shelf, and I feel like, again, different leadership styles, and I feel like the recreation and the fire department and dispatch have been put on the shelf for many years. I did not get, if you want to say, get my way for dispatch. I still think KSP was the way to go for that, but the council chose differently.
Yeah.
And I honor their wishes. Yeah. And once they voted and didn't do it, we got, all right, that problem is off to the side. Let's go to something else.
All right. Well, like I said, you're going into another 2 years. Do you think this we'll have less headlines as far as with this new council, as far as personalities and things of that nature, and get down to business and less sensationalism, or what do you think?
Well, I hope so, because we're there to do we're there to do business, and not there to harass each other. We're there to do the business for the citizens of Bardstown, and I've been on both sides. I've been a council member, and now I've been mayor, and wow, it's different.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say the grass was not greener on the other side of the fence. But it was being mayor has been a challenge, and I enjoy it, and I think it's a good fit for me. Again, I'm not without fault. I'm not perfect, but and sometimes I push too hard, go too fast, and if I want you to go with me, as my mother says, you cannot pull their hair and make them come with you kicking and screaming. So anyway, and maybe I have to brush up on my salesman skills and become a politician, but I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think that'll happen either. Just one little bit I know of it. Well, John, I do appreciate you being here today. Is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Because I know we've got a forum of people that are interested in knowing what's going on, what the state of Bardstown is right now, and just from your perspective.
Well, I can honestly tell you that Bardstown is fiscally fit. It is very sound. We are moving forward. We're in a state of being progressive, but we do not want to lose our roots of where we came from. So we are the most beautiful small town in America. We've gotten that from our downtown area, and that's kind of our roots. The distilleries is the roots of our town, and we don't want to forget that. But we still have to be progressive and look outside the box. So. And if I can elaborate on the fire department, you'll see them in your business. They're actually doing inspections on businesses, which has not been done for a long time. But they're also doing layouts of businesses of where things are, where they can attack a fire, and that's something that they're doing, and I think it's really nice.
All right. Well, John, I appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll have you back in soon and keep you updated on what's going on in the city of Bardstown.
Anytime, Kenny, you call, I'll come out.
All right. John Royalty, the mayor of Bardstown, here with us today, and again, midterm report here right now as we finish up one city council. We're getting ready to embark on another, and we'll stick around. We'll keep up with things and have the mayor in on a regular basis to let you know what's going on in his world. All right, stick around. A lot more to come here on Community Focus here on Channel 6 TV. We'll be right back right after a few messages.